Next on our agenda is, whoops, wrong button, is the presentation of the 2015-16 budget. And let me just launch this here real quick. I'm used to a different version. There it is. Okay, I think I'm up. So, good evening, Council, and thank you for this opportunity to deliver the Mayor's proposed budget and financial plan. You'll find that this budget is responsive to the public's input and Council's direction that we have received throughout the year. The budget and financial plan demonstrates good stewardship, quality services, and investment in our community while maintaining a low cost of government. We start the budget development process by reminding ourselves of the vision. The speed in which we reach this vision is dependent upon the health of our economy. We are creating choices in housing, transportation, and recreation to meet the needs of the 21st century. People have asked me, why is there a focus on urban centers? Why is there a focus on urban centers? The Growth Management Act of 1992 requires us to plan for a certain level of increase in population and jobs. Redmond is intentionally placing most of our growth in downtown and Overlake to preserve our existing neighborhoods, prevent sprawl, and use our land efficiently and sustainably. The budget process gathered more public input than ever before. Our outreach started with the annual survey results from last year, which showed 77% of our residents believe the city is headed in the right direction. Our Your City, Your Choice website tool was developed by students from the DigiPen Institute of Technology. The website provided short videos describing each of the city's 6 priorities and sought input from residents. Participants were granted 12 stars to distribute among the 6 priorities. Almost 1,400 unique individuals played the game. Participants made their choices with a maximum of 3 stars per priority. In addition, we restructured the citizen participation on the results team. Instead of 1 citizen per result team, we created a civic budget team. This group of 4 citizens rated every original budget offer as high, medium, or low priority. Their feedback was shared with the budget writers to improve their offers. Happily, the feedback we received from the public matched our vision. Most people understood our growth management strategy and our commitment to our neighborhoods. They also value Redmond's high quality of life, environmental ethic, and stewardship of our resources. Likewise, the community supported our 6 identified priorities. The website game showed that the community's top priorities were clean and green, infrastructure, and safety. However, even the lowest ranked priority, connected community, averaged more than 1 star per participant. To remain a world-class city requires continued progress on our vision and goals. It requires continued investment. It requires our best budget work. This financial plan and budget maintain the momentum we have built over the past 6 years to remain the top-tier city the community enjoys today. Conversations with Council over the past year provided the revenue and expenditure framework from which we worked. To prepare for this budget, we reviewed the cost of city services through logic models, analyzed operational improvements, and assessed our performance. The 6-year financial plan builds upon our sound financial strategies, like setting aside 5% of the general fund for capital investment. These actions, along with other strategies, have earned the City of Redmond and our utilities a AAA rating from Standard & Poor's. Altogether, this budget and financial plan balances our enthusiasm for achieving our vision with the day-to-day commitments to provide high-quality city services. This chart shows Redmond's price of government for the past 17 years and a projection for the next 6. The price of government measures the city revenues as a percentage of the community income. Historically, Redmond's price of government is between 5 and 6%. Since 2008, we have made a conscious decision to lower our price of government while minimizing decreases to our service levels. Earlier this year, we discussed with the council the possibility of our revenues dropping below the 5% mark. When revenues drop below the 5% mark, service levels and quality drop below the community's expectations. We also know if our price of government exceeds 6%, the public will not tolerate the higher rates. At the council retreat earlier this year, council set a range between 5 and 5.5% for our price of government. At the same time, council gave us permission to explore revenue increases to stabilize our revenue base. We began the number crunching portion of the budget with a forecast showing a $4.2 million gap with a growing budget deficit in the general fund. The forecast was based upon inflating our current expenditures plus an allowance for maintaining new infrastructure. We know that efficiencies alone would not close this budget gap. To be more precise, we used an additional lens in prioritizing the budget and to close the gap. We wanted to catch up on some needed maintenance in our transportation systems and city facilities. We wanted to keep up with demands for services from a growing and diversifying community. And we wanted to step up to some of the needs and opportunities discussed for several years that can now be acted upon. Catching up. The proposed budget catches up with needed investments while maintaining the momentum on the wide variety of community services the Redmond residents and businesses expect. The budget includes 5 additional FTEs for maintenance. Overall, infrastructure maintenance costs increase as facilities age, or the replacement investment is more complex due to new technology. Our older buildings are also driving increased costs. The most pressing example is the public safety building, built in 1991. The design and materials used in many building exteriors of that time failed, creating leaks and other problems. Similar challenges exist with our other buildings. The budget contains offers to address immediate deficiencies and to continue the examination of our buildings to identify problems and ensure they remain safe and functional. We are also catching up with our revenues. Since 2007, the city has postponed inflation increases in the business head tax to support our local economy during the recession. This budget increases the general fund portion of the business head tax by $8 to make up for the deferred inflationary increases. Keeping up. To keep up, we will complete the projects we promised the community and meet the needs of our growing city. We are budgeting operational resources to maintain investments such as the Redmond Central Connector and our growing street grid. While new development expands our roadways, it is up to the city to provide the ongoing needed maintenance. State law constrains all Washington city's ability to collect revenue at a rate that keeps up with inflation. This creates a structural imbalance. To keep up, cities must choose to either drop the level of services or raise taxes to maintain services. This is the first time we are proposing raising revenues beyond the annual 1% increase in property tax collections. The 3% utility tax on cable was the least regressive tax available to the general fund. To keep our capital program balanced, the budget includes a rate increase in the business head tax of $7 for transportation projects to offset the decrease in impact fees that were approved earlier in the year. The utility rate increases allow us just to keep up with inflation and keep up with our maintenance needs. For the long-term sustainability of city services, the financial plan borrows from the experiences of school districts who faced this dilemma some time ago. We're recommending a 6-year property tax levy be developed and proposed on the 2015 budget, effective in 2016. This levy would address both operational and capital investments needed. As a 6-year levy, it creates a regular schedule of accountability when the community can determine whether or not to reinvest in the city. The proposed budget does not rely on new property tax. However, without refreshing the past levies and addressing the structural imbalances, the 6-year financial plan will not maintain current service levels. Stepping up. We have 3 nice items for stepping up here. The biennial budget does include a few modest elements of stepping up towards the vision we share for the community. Examples include enhancing our cultural offerings through the popular So Bazaar events, evaluation of an arts center, and improvements to transit service through a community shuttle. These examples are modest, in keeping with our primary focus on catching up on maintenance and replacing our existing programs and facilities. Capacity for significant step-up type investments, such as a new community center or pool, does not exist in our ongoing revenues. Investments on this scale require an excess property tax levy. This type of levy necessitates clear and strong community support in the form of more than 60% approval in an election. We need to hold the conversation to examine our willingness as a community to make this financial commitment on a large scale for projects like these. The financial plan assumes going to the voters in 2018 for a capital levy, but it doesn't assume what the exact package contains. The proposed budget reflects an increase of 15 positions. Only 5 of these positions are additions to the workforce. Some of the new positions come from converting 4 grant-funded positions to regular slots, since these grants are consistently renewed. If the grant goes away, the position will also. The remaining 6 positions reclassify long-term limited duration positions into regular positions to meet our internal human resources policies. The 1 FTE reduction currently manages the Hotel Motel Tax Committee and will be absorbed by the Office of Economic Development and the Budget Office. This budget, with the recommended additions, would result in a city workforce that is smaller than it was in 2007. We remain proud of the effectiveness of our employees and believe that the city enjoys a higher service level today with a smaller workforce than it has in the past. This chart shows our historical FTE budget. The layoffs that occurred in 2009 are reflected in the 2011-12 budget. The 2015-16 proposed budget is 17 FTEs lower than our high of 668 FTEs in 2009. In allocating resources, the proportion of business, community, and responsible government are reduced through efficiencies and consolidations, not through less responsible government. The increase in budget of the infrastructure and safety priorities reflect the preferences expressed by the public. The revenue impact to the average Redmond household is approximately $54 per year. Overall, this budget bolsters our maintenance efforts, allows us to keep up with growth, and offers strategies to provide the services and investments our community desires. So here's the real scorecard of this whole thing. Historically, Redmond's price of government has been between 5% and 6%. Currently, Redmond's price of government is among the lowest it has been since 1997. As revenue collections fall below 5%, the lack of resources erodes our ability to provide the same level of service. The financial plan presented achieves a price of government between 5.25 and 5.35 of the community income over the next 6 years. This will enable us to make needed investments while still offering value to our residents and businesses. And to briefly explain, the blue line includes all the revenue increases on the left. It includes the 3% utility tax on cable, the business license fee update of $8, and the one for transportation of $7, a 6-year property tax levy of 35 cents, and then in 2018, an excess levy property tax of about $75 million to accomplish our bigger capital goals. You can see with the timing of these, we expect to maintain between 5.25 and 5.35 as our price of government, the lower third of our range. If we did nothing, the dotted red line below is what would occur. We would quickly fall below the 5% range to the 4.9, and we'd be talking about reducing services because we could not sustain our level of revenue. This budget and finance plan lays out an approach that continues our fiscal discipline and maintains the city as one of the top 5 cities in the country at a price of government that is among the lowest offered to our residents in the past 20 years. To maintain a world-class city requires continued progress on our vision and big goals. It requires continued investment. This plan will maintain the direction we have set over the past 6 years to keep Redmond moving forward. I want to thank the many staff who've worked on this budget. I also want to thank the residents who participated, whether through the web tool, a survey, questionnaire, or a civic results team. Council will find in this book another leap forward in our explanations and measurements of service levels. Staff wants to convey their pride in their work and the value they deliver to the community. I look forward to working with you over the next few weeks to develop the best budget for our community. Thank you very much.